you know?
In regards to grief, yeah, grief with Michael is getting easier. In regards to my mental health with
Yeah.
my CPTSD and panic anxiety and depression, when I have a great day, Marlo, I will definitely send you a message and say, guess what? I hit the jackpot. Today was a great day. Um,
Yay.
I can't remember the last time I had a great day. Have
Okay.
I had days that were good? Yes, but my definition of good is not what it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
I am coming to terms with there's a lot of this that is going to be part of my day-to-day life, which I strongly encourage people to find a therapist you connect with.
Right.
If you don't, move on and find another one. Mine, ironically, her name is Melanie as well. She keeps telling me it is going to get better. But she's also honest with me that it's something I'm going to live with for the rest of my life. So,
Right.
as a wound heals, it may not be out in the open as much as it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's still sitting there below the surface, which is the other reason why I guess my trauma therapy is so important, because how do I explain this? When I hear sirens, whether it's a police siren, a fire, or an ambulance, that'll kick me off the ledge in 30 seconds or less, and it doesn't matter where I am. So my trauma therapy is important so that I don't dissociate, I don't forget where I am when that happens, that I can actually pull over for a second and remind myself that I'm safe and I'm okay.
Right.
But right now, when it happens, I dissociate. I don't know where I go, but I leave my body. And if I'm out driving, I don't remember how I got to where I was going, or if I get somewhere and then I'm there, I don't even remember why I'm there. So over time, that will get better. But right now, it's just something I learned to deal with, which is a big part of why I don't go out a lot by myself.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's good. So it just gives me an idea of that journey, because we really don't know. And I think people say, well, like they'll eventually get over it, or, all that language. And it's just so shallow, right? Because this isn't something you just get over, like you said, like a cold. It takes years of work and counseling. And I just can't even imagine all of the phases and all of the steps that you go through every day, right? To maybe see just a little bit of progress. So
yeah, it'll soften, Marlo. I guess the best thing for me to say is it'll soften.
Mm-hmm.
If I ever get to the point where it's gone, you'll be the first person I tell. But it should
we'll do another show.
Yeah, it should soften. And I guess the one thing some people have said to me, well, why didn't this happen a year or two after Michael passed? You know why it didn't? Because Trauma Melanie was still holding the box and keeping it in the closet with the door shut.
Right.
And in November of 2015, Trauma Melanie couldn't do it anymore. The box fell, it hit the ground, and all that stuff came out.
Right. Yeah. Got it. Wow, that's so powerful. So is there anything that you feel that you need to say? I know that, we're going on almost an hour here, but I feel like this has been such an important conversation. And I believe that every time that we have these conversations, it's just opened another level of education and compassion, understanding and acceptance. It's been so powerful for me to have these conversations. And so is there anything that you feel that you need to say about your story, about anything that's related to this whole idea of, kind of death by suicide and the impact that it has on the loved ones of the people who are gone?
I think the one thing I want to say that has become apparent to me, especially over the last couple years, is we always say be kind to one another. But I guess the one thing I want to say is when you see someone standing in Walmart and you're getting ready to shake your head, take a step outside yourself and think they might be frustrating you in that moment, but you have no idea what's going on in their head and how hard it may very well be for them to be there.
Right.
So it's you always have to take a step back, take a step outside of yourself. And I was guilty of it. I admit I was guilty of it. You'd be standing in line and you'd be looking at someone and you'd be passing judgment.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what, Marlo? There's been days where I've had to go to the grocery store. I haven't had a shower in 3 days. I'm wearing Craig's t-shirt and baggy sweatpants. I probably don't smell very nice. My hair's not brushed. And I know people have looked at me thinking, holy cow. And all I'm thinking is, you got to get in here. You've got 2 things to get. You've got to get out. I'm sweating. I'm panicking. And I've met eyes with people as they're looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the old Melanie, but that's what had to go and do what she had to do in that moment.
Right.
So when you see someone, just take a step back and reposition and rethink, because I'm sure that if people that knew me 10 years ago sometimes saw me now, they'd be thinking, what the hell?
Right. Yeah. That's good to think about. I think there's a quote out there that says something like, be kind to everybody because you don't know what they're going through, right? And it's just always, such a general statement.
And when you look at someone, always remember you're looking at someone else's loved one. You're looking at someone else's mother, someone else's sister, someone else's daughter.
Mm.
That person that you're casting judgment on is impacting somebody else's life that you don't even know.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So before you go, Melanie, I always like to ask this question to all of my guests. What makes you an uncommon woman?
What makes me an uncommon woman? That I actually had the courage not to send you a message this morning and say, Marlo, I can't do it.
Yes.
I actually got out of bed this morning going, put your mask on, but put your mask on because you need to do this. Mm-hmm. Find the strength somewhere, because 3 words I said might make a great deal of difference to somebody else. My daughter, God love her, she's my world. She's my rock. Said to me yesterday, Mommy, I really think you should write a book. And I'm like, I've thought about it. And she says, you've got so much to share and so many things to help people. And that, I want to say my little girl, she's 23. There's days where I can't see making 5 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And she'll just send me a text because she knows I'm not okay. She can feel it. So what makes me an uncommon woman? I've been through a hell of a lot of stuff. I'm still going through stuff. I have found an amazing man to love and support me. And I have a little girl that calls me Mommy, that no matter what I've done and what bad choices or good choices I've made in life, she's not only my daughter, she's my best friend. And I've got a husband that looks at me after not showering for 3 days and my hair's a mess and I don't smell nice, who still has his eyes light up and calls me sweetie and can't imagine life without me.
I love it. That's beautiful. So there is life after tragedy.
There is life after tragedy. It's
just different.
It's not always smooth sailing.
That's right.
Sometimes it might be a bumpy road in St. John, but there is life after trauma.
Right.
And always be gentle with yourself. Always be gentle with yourself.
Well, this has been such a beautiful conversation. Thank you so much, Melanie, for your message, for your raw and real delivery, and for all of the things that you kind of gave us access to in your own soul, because I know that it's not an easy topic, And I know that you probably wanted to throw up before you came on this call, and you showed up anyway, and we made it through. So I just want to honor you as an uncommon woman. Thank you so much for being part of this tribe, part of this movement, and believing in the message. And the reality is, the more stories that we share, the more lives are saved. And so I honor you, and I thank you so much for being here today. Have an incredible day. Thank everybody for being here today and for listening in on the Uncommon Woman radio show. My name is Marlo Ellis, and we will see you next week on Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard for the Uncommon Woman radio show. Have an incredible day. Bye-bye.